Shalom, call hello, Yahweh Shemi on Shabbat Shemi Kakadash, to double homage to the elder apostles and elder bishops of GMS, even the elders that came before them, tells the truth, Shabbat Shalom, and salutations to all the brothers up preaching the word of truth and in sincerity, the hopeful elect tabernacle of David, to the Aqua and the listening line, being a pillar of breath, 144,000, one third the hopeful elect of Israel, my brother Yahshua. I'm back with the WW3 Daily update, Shabbat Shalom, and salutations to you all. We're going to pick up right here with this conversation. Ambassador Charles Freeman. Will Iran back up from Russia and China against? Will Iran get backup from Russia and China against the U.S.? We can answer this with the scriptures, but let's listen to this.
Arrests, clamped down by the law enforcement authorities, foreigners being deported for saying the wrong things, rather like the United States. And if you think about the relationship between Europe and the United States, you have to, read the European press. There was an article in the Guardian, the British newspaper.
This is live, by the way. We're just tapping it.
Left-leaning, the other day, which advised people, don't travel to the United States. It's too risky. Look what happens if you run afoul of the immigration authorities at the airport. All kinds of people are being deported for nothing other than saying something. The freedom of speech that the United States was famous for is no more. Now universities are being attacked, faculty are being deported, students are being deported.
This is the most important thing going on right now. Okay? Nobody's paying attention to that. Listen to what he said.
People are being held at the airport and sent home. Others are
this is today, jailed. Right now.
There's a breakdown of law and order. There's a lot of arbitrary and capricious law enforcement activity. Nobody can figure it out. This is probably...
That's what happened in what happened in Nazi Germany, in Germany, right?
Wedge between Europe and the United States that the Russians are looking at with great pleasure, and the Chinese too. This is an opportunity for China, which has a bad relationship with Europe, mostly because of economic factors, but also because it supported the United States in turning against China. But you now see Europeans reconsidering that. So all of this has a bearing on possible rethinking by Europeans of their policies in West Asia, including toward Iran. Because there's no conflict between Iran and Europe. Europe basically turned on Iran out of solidarity with the United States, and for no other reason. But if there is no solidarity, how long will that continue?
Do you think that the case of Canada would be the same as the Europe that you mentioned? They're going to get, because it seems that Canada is reevaluating its policy toward the United States. Are they going to get closer to China, in your opinion?
I don't know that, but I do know that the leading candidate to become prime minister has basically declared a divorce with the United States. He said,
that's all we need. Okay, I'm going to cut that right there. He said some very important things, right, about the direction that the U.S. is going. All right, so let's answer this question. I'm going to go ahead and cut it short. Will Iran get back up from Russia and China against the U.S.? That's an easy one. Okay. Iran or the Persians? We're going to go to Ezekiel 38. And we'll get it real quick and we'll bring this to an end. Ezekiel 38 and what? Okay, let's identify. Here's Iran. Gog, the land of Magog, right? Gog would be Russia, Ruach, right? Well, it says Be thou prepared and prepare for thyself. First, let's get this. Persia, Ethiopia, and Libya with them. With who? With Gog. See? Gog. Iran. Okay, let me say that again. Russia. Iran, Ethiopia, Libya. All of them with shields and Turkey and Syria of the north, and all his bands, and many Chinese, North Koreans with you. They weren't named specifically, but they were. They were. Who's that? Turkey, Syria. They were named off. Iran, the ancient name for it. See that? It says, now we're going to answer this question. There's Iran, there's Russia, there's China, right? Many people with thee. Moab is in there, right? Who's allies right now? Who do we see as allies right now? That's easy. When we go to World War III, whose side is China going to be on? That's easy. Shut the fuck up. Anyway, if you don't like that line of reasoning, I understand. I apologize. Not. Okay, so Iran, right? Russia, China, right? Be thou prepared, who? Gog, and prepare for thyself, thou, and all the company that are assembled under. Well, who's assembled? With them. Right? That would be Iran, right? China, Turkey. Well, where is Turkey gonna go? Turkey's the wild card. They might, we don't know what to, we do know. We do know. We do know what Syria's gonna do. See? Are they gonna help them? Right here it says they will. It says, make sure you're good and everybody else, and guard them. Be thou a guard unto. You make, what does it mean prepare? Make sure you got missiles. And if Iran ain't got nukes, nigga, you make sure they do. That's what that means. Understand? So ask me that ridiculous question if Iran has nukes. So with that, we hope that the electorate edified you, brothers and sisters. Shalom.